All right. Welcome back to G4 Sports Talk. I'm your host, George Johnston, and today we are going to be talking and reacting to the Selection Sunday broadcast. You can watch it on CBS. I can't broadcast it for you all, or else I'll get copyright striked, and of course, we don't want that. So I'll be reacting through it throughout the broadcast. I have it on my phone to the side, but if you all want to follow along, you can go onto CBS and go watch it yourself. Now, some things I want to talk to you all before the broadcast, which I believe starts in around 5 minutes. It should be talking about BYU and Kansas, some of the most controversial teams in college basketball, led by two top three prospects, Darren Peterson and AJ Dabansa. However, their midseasons were not the best, and they are in a interesting situation. They will be locks for March Madness. There's no way they don't get in, but it's really about where they get seeded. They should be around a 5 to 7 seed, but these are really shaky regular season teams who I'm not sure how far they can go. So they could be on upset watch, but you will have to watch and see to figure out. Um, we just saw Purdue upset Michigan in the Big Ten conference championship game. So Michigan's stock won't drop. They will still be a number one seed. Purdue will definitely go up, but I don't think the selection committee will have too much to change, especially because the game ended maybe 30 minutes before the selections are about to come out. So won't be too much to change in regards to that. But overall, this is going to be a really fun March Madness. One of the more controversial aspects of this one is, of course, Miami, Ohio, undefeated in the regular season, lost to UMass in the MAC tournament, and people were wondering whether they were going to be inside March Madness this year. I think they will be. One of my followers that I was just talking to said that Miami, Ohio will most likely be a first four team, and I probably couldn't agree with him more. They'll probably be one of the four lowest seeded at large bid teams going into Selection Sunday, which means that they'll probably be a first four team fighting for an 11 seed spot. But of course, we will have to see. I'm dressed with this new vintage 2013 Final Four zip up that I just got in the mail today. This zip up is probably maybe 6 months younger than me, and I'm very happy with the condition that it's in. So I just had to pull it out. If you go to my school, you'll probably see me wearing this sometime this week. But overall, this is going to be a very exciting March Madness year, and I cannot wait to see who gets in. The time right now is 5:58, so we are about 2 minutes from beginning Selection Sunday. If you're in the chat, go ahead and say hi. Very excited for you all to see my takes and for you all to just watch the stream and see what goes on. Very excited to make my brackets. A lot of my friends are in my bracket group. So if you're one of my friends and you are seeing this right now, I'm going to beat you all. I'm going to get number one in the bracket group. So just be ready for that. Uh, if you're hopping in the stream, just say hi. Very excited to have you here as we get ready to watch Selection Sunday together and talk about our reactions. Earlier in the stream, I was talking about, BYU, Kansas, Miami, Ohio, some of the most controversial teams, in my opinion, as of now. Another thing I heard from people coming up to today was the three bubble SEC teams, Texas, Oklahoma, and Auburn. Some people believe that they should be in. Others believe that it'll be just SEC bias if they get in. As of now, Joe Lenardi's bracketology says that only Texas will get in, but it could really go either way. There's about 7 bubble teams that could be in or could be out today, Miami, Ohio included. So the bubble teams will be very interesting to watch, and it is 5:59. We are almost here. It's been a while. Very excited. Again, if you are in the chat, just hopping in, go say hi in the comments below. Very excited to have you here. And it is 6 p.m. right now. I'm looking at my phone. There's an Xfinity ad right now. Now it's 5 Hour Energy. And I don't know what's taking them so long. They need to hurry up and get to this Selection Sunday broadcast on CBS. If you aren't watching it yet, I'd highly recommend going onto CBS and pulling that up just because I can't broadcast it right here. I'll get copyright striked. And it does look like the broadcast is starting. See the national championship trophy. I believe the Final Four this year will be in Indianapolis. So pretty interesting. Basketball capital of the world, definitely Indiana. Very excited to see what goes down there. The madness begins. A bunch of teams are watching this one broadcast right here, and so are we. So we are going to be watching this together. It's been a while since last March Madness. For any of you who know, my last March Madness bracket did not do so well. I was like third to last in my group. This year, I believe I will lock in and hopefully get first in my group. Hopefully, I can make a video talking about my personal March Madness bracket, and hopefully, you all watch that and like some of my opinions. Adam Zucker, Clark Kellogg, Seth Davis, Bruce Pearl. Bruce Pearl, former Auburn coach who led Auburn to the Final Four last year, now on Selection Sunday broadcast. Of course, Bruce Pearl had some pretty controversial opinions relating to Auburn and whether they should be in over Miami, Ohio. I do not believe Auburn will get in today, although really, like I said earlier, 7 bubble teams, really like only 4 spots for those 7 bubble teams. So it's gonna be really exciting to see. Very excited, of course. Whew, this is going to be exciting. I'm just waiting for them to get it. East Region #1 seed is Duke Blue Devils. Was expecting this, of course. Duke has been dominant all year, and they are one of only 2 expected #1 seeds who have won their conference championship game, and they'll be playing Siena in Greenville, South Carolina. Um, I'd say you should automatically advance all 4 of your #1 seeds. So in my bracket, I'll be putting Duke there. #8 seed in that same region, Ohio State. I saw their game against Michigan, very close game, and they are the 8 seed, also playing in Greenville, South Carolina on Thursday, and they'll be taking on TCU. I saw someone say that TCU will make a run to the Sweet 16, but now that they'll have to play Duke in the round of 32 to get there, I can't see it happening. St. John's is a 5 seed. Interesting. They beat UConn, and they are still only a 5 seed. Very interesting. My friend Chase Coburn paid a lot of attention to a lot of his videos. Great young sports reporter. If you haven't already listened to him, uh, he went to their Big East Conference Championship game. Of course, UConn lost. It was a pretty bad game. St. John's 5 seed. They'll be playing Northern Iowa and San Diego, California. Saint 5-12. It's pretty even between the 12 seeds winning and the 5 seeds winning. St. John's has been good as of late. 4 seed is Kansas. I don't know about that. I mean, Darren Peterson, great player, but Kansas has been very unreliable going into late. I don't know how I feel. They'll be taking on Cal Baptist in San Diego. Upset? Maybe. I don't know. Cal Baptist will have home court advantage there. But Kansas 4 seed, now going to the ladder, 6 seed Louisville in Buffalo, and they will be taking on USF. That's another upset alert. USF has been great all year. Loving them in the American. I believe they won the American Conference Championship. 3 seed Michigan State, expected. I thought they might have been a 2 seed, but they are the 3 seed, also playing in Buffalo, New York. What a great team. They played Michigan. I think they lost by 10. What a great team. And they'll be taking on North Dakota State. Very interesting. I believe they're Summit League champions. Of course, their football team will be moving up to the Mountain West next year. Very interesting. North Dakota State, Michigan State. 7 seed UCLA from the Big Ten. We've gotten a couple Big Ten teams here today. They'll be playing in Philadelphia. Now, who will they be playing? UCF. Very interesting contest. Haven't seen both of those teams much this year, but I mean, this is going to be very interesting. The UCF players are very rowdy. 2 seed, I'm expecting to get a big name here. also be in Philadelphia. And the 2 seed is UConn, I believe. What a great team. I mean, they've had some bad losses, but they've also had some big highs. And UConn, of course, what a great team. They'll be in the same region as St. John's. Not expecting a rematch there, but who knows? Solo Ball, really love him. UConn, yeah, they'll be taking on Furman. I believe we have seen Furman in some March Madness tournaments in the last couple years. UConn Furman. Don't expect Furman to win that. I'll probably just advance UConn to the second round. And that is your East region. You have teams like Duke, St. John's, Kansas, UConn, Ohio State, TCU, and more. Do I expect any upsets from this? I'm already looking at Kansas, Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist has home court advantage right there in California. Darren Peterson had injury issues all year. However, he was doing pretty decent as of late. Kansas still very unreliable team. I still don't know how they're going to fare here. Just looking at the rest of this bracket, Louisville, South Florida, another upset alert. Michigan State probably will advance. UCLA, UCF, not sure there. Has to do more research. Who do I think is going to win from this region? Honestly, I'm already taking Duke. Just the most dominant team in the entire world of college basketball. Honestly, what a great team from Duke there. Cam Boozer, very excited to see him play in the big dance. Also excited to see what this UConn team has. Lost to St. John's in the Big East Championship game, but still a very great team. Solo Ball, Alex Caravan, and more. Very great team. Pretty easy road to the Elite Eight. They just have, Duke in their way, but great team. Still waiting for BYU, Arizona, the fate of Miami, Ohio, and more. As I believe we are going into commercial break. Just wanted to say hello to all the new viewers. Drop some comments in the chat. Very excited to have you guys here as we go into more of March Madness. Excuse my voice crack. um, we saw Duke number 1 overall seed, UConn as a 2 seed. Who was the 3 seed? I think yes, Michigan State as the 3 seed, Arizona as the 4 seed, and St. John's as your 5 seed. Very interesting East region. I did say I believe Duke will end up going to the Final Four from this region, but if I had to choose someone else, would it really be UConn? Has lost 2 games against St. John's, including yesterday's biggest championship game, or was that today? Yesterday or today, whatever. Um, they are 1-2 against St. John's. They did have that big blowout, but I don't know how they'd fare if they ever got a rematch, which I don't think will happen. I'd have to take another look at the bracket, but don't see UConn beating St. John's if that ever happens. I see the viewer count is up to 8, if I'm reading that right. So, hello to everyone watching. We are live from my room here at the Johnson Residence, and everyone, make sure you're watching the official Selection Sunday broadcast on CBS. I can't broadcast it because I'd get copyright stricken, but just excited to have you all here and excited to have you all listen to some of my takes. Um, this is going to be a very interesting bracket, especially when I start actually doing my bracket, which will definitely be either tonight or tomorrow. First games are on Tuesday, I believe, with the first 4, but that doesn't really matter. This is going to be a very interesting big dance. Very excited. My school lets us watch games at lunch, so I'm very excited to be seeing some of those games with my friends, as well as doing bracket challenges with my friends. This is always a great tradition to be having in the middle of March. The weather has been weird, but I feel like we're all going to be inside just watching some of these March Madness games. Very excited to see the next region they do. I can't remember because we have what Midwest, South, and West left. So I'm not sure which one they do next. I guess they'd be going more south to the South region and then back to the Midwest. But we'll really have to see. This is very interesting. We haven't gotten any confirmed first four games yet. Guessing at least one of them will come up in the next region. Still in commercial break. We are on a Oreo commercial now, I guess. This is very interesting. Again, excited to have you all here listening to some of my takes. And it looks like we are back on broadcast. Let's see what region they do next. This is live from the CBS studio. Of course, I visited CBS studios when I was got to see some of the NFL Slime Time recordings there when I was still on that show. It was very interesting. They had like one booth for all of the stuff, whether it's NFL Slime Time, NFL Today. Not sure where they're doing the Selection Sunday broadcast, but I have to assume it's in that same building. We're in the West region now, and Arizona, number one seed, they'll be playing in San Diego, California. Very deserved. Great game against Houston. Great run in the Big 12 tournament. And they'll get the number one seed playing LIU, Long Island University. Some of my friends have some jokes about that school. They have to take on a behemoth in Arizona. Expect Arizona to go to the second round, also in San Diego. Eight seed Villanova from the Big East. Very quality team from the Big East, and that's their third bid already. They'll be taking on Utah State, a nine seed. We were talking about this Utah State team all year as the Mountain West champion. I think this is their fourth auto bid in a row. I think this is a very quality team. Great coach. They just know what to do in March. And the Mountain West just got their, I believe, their first bid of the day. I think Utah State might go to the second round. Wisconsin as the five seed, another Big Ten team. They're getting a lot of bids. My first hot take of the day so far, Big Ten probably won't have a lot of teams going past the opening weekend. And Wisconsin takes on High Point. Last year, when High Point was in the tourney, I picked them to upset. I forget who they were playing. I just picked them to upset. That didn't go well. But this could be another upset here. Wisconsin, good team, but High Point has the measurables to be upset. I said earlier, the 5-12 is usually 50-50, maybe a little bit more towards the five, but definitely look at High Point. Arkansas, we just saw them win the SEC tournament today. I love this Arkansas team. I love what Darius Acuff is doing. And this is a very quality team, and they'll be taking on Hawaii. I don't even want to say this is a interesting game. Hawaii, pretty good team out from, I forget what conference they're in, maybe the Big Sky, but Arkansas, I just love them. And BYU and AJ Dabansa are a six seed. Very interesting. Kansas got I forget, I think it was a four seed in the Eastern, but BYU with the six seed, AJ Dabansa, first tourney. He was saying he was thinking about going back to college, but he's going to the NBA. There's no way. And they'll be taking on either Texas or NC State. So Texas does get into March Madness as one of those three SEC bubble teams I was talking about. They'll take on NC State in the first four, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. I forget. Gonzaga, the three seed in the West region. Will this be Mark Few's last year as the Gonzaga head coach? I'm not sure, but this is a pretty good Gonzaga team. Won the WCAC for the final time in their last year. They'll be taking on Kennesaw State in Portland. This is a very interesting Gonzaga team. I mean, they haven't gotten over the hump, but Mark Few, very experienced coach, expect them to get far. Seven seed Miami from Florida, not Miami from Ohio. They'll be taking on Missouri in St. Louis. Very interesting. I don't know how Missouri got that, but they'll be taking on Miami, Florida. And we are waiting for the 2:15 game to wrap up the West region. Very interesting. Arizona, Gonzaga, BYU. This is and High Point too. This is a very interesting West, and Purdue will be the two seed in the West region, newly made Big Ten champions after beating Michigan in a great game from them, and they'll be taking on Queens. I believe this is their very first March Madness. Matter of fact, I believe they're a very new NCAA team, so good for Queens. Very excited to see them play in March Madness, but Purdue might just beat them. Although Purdue just have a history of getting upset, so really, who knows? Looking back at this West region, Arizona, we know, will probably get to the second round. Very excited to see that Villanova Utah State game. Both quality teams. Utah State won the Mountain West. Villanova was a quality team from the Big East. Very excited to see that on Friday. Wisconsin High Point, pretty interesting. That might be on upset watch. High Point, also a very good team, got the auto bid. Wisconsin didn't, but they were a pretty high up um, at large team. Arkansas, Hawaii. Already talked about how much I love that Arkansas team. BYU playing that first four game. Gonzaga playing Kennesaw State. Miami, Florida playing Missouri in Missouri. So Missouri could get the upset as the 10 seed over the 7. And then Purdue playing Queens in St. Louis as well. This is a very interesting West region. They have a lot of great teams. But this might be one of the most upsettable regions that we've seen so far. Um, Welcome for anyone joining the chat right now. Live from the Johnston residence, we are watching the Selection Sunday broadcast. It's on CBS if you wanted to watch, and it's been a great Selection Sunday so far. We've gone through the East region, and now we are currently on the West region with Arizona as the number one seed there. This is going to be a very interesting tournament. Now, if we're going East to West, then I'd assume that the next conference they do is the South region, but this is still going to be very interesting. A lot of good teams left. St. Louis Billikens, Miami, Ohio Redhawks, very controversial. Santa Clara, great WCC team. We'll see if they get in. Idaho, and more. This is going to be very interesting. A lot of players are getting their dreams made today and being able to play in March Madness. But there will be some bubble teams who do not get in. I believe it was like 7 bubble teams for 4 spots. I talked about some of those SEC teams who some people believe shouldn't get in, and it was Texas, Oklahoma, and Auburn. Texas already got in as a first 4 team, playing for an 11th seed. So we will have to see how Oklahoma and Auburn fare. Miami, Ohio, that's the really interesting one. Undefeated in the regular season, but they lost to UMass, and some people are saying they shouldn't get in. I believe they should, but we'll just have to see. Miami, Ohio, and all the Redhawks fans highly anticipating these next 2 regions. I think if they don't get named in the next region, that final region is going to have everyone on their heels. I definitely do expect them to get into the big dance. Great story. I just don't know if they'll be able to make it. They have one of the weakest schedules in the league, and although being undefeated is a very impressive feat, they did lose to UMass in the MAC tournament, a game that they really shouldn't have lost if they wanted to prove that they were the team that we thought they were. Welcome to anyone joining. We are watching the Selection Sunday broadcast, and right now it is on commercial break. So we are waiting for the next region. I feel like the broadcast goes by relatively fast. I mean, last year I wasn't paying attention to it too much. I mean, this year we're doing the live stream, but this is going to be very interesting. Just waiting for these commercials to end. They go by pretty fast, especially when I'm just talking to a camera and this camera is going out to all of you. Just wow, this is going to be very interesting. Um Check out the setup. I don't think I've done a real live stream in here before. I've filmed some videos out here. Sun's starting to go down a little. The daylight saving time is really helping out. But this is very interesting. This is my first live stream in a pretty while. I think the last time I did one was maybe it was the Labor Day college football 25 gameplay that I did. Might have been that. I probably have to do some more live streams. If you all would like live streams, just tell me, and whatever you think I should live stream, because this is a thing that I haven't done for a while, but it's very fun to do, and hopefully I get to do it. Maybe I'll even live stream some of the games from this March Madness if I have the time, especially some of the weekend games, some of the more high profile ones. As for my Maryland Terps, I had to bring them in for a little. They definitely won't be getting in March Madness this year, at least not the men's. The women will definitely be in March Madness, I believe. Um, Next year, though, with 5-star recruit Baba Olatudun joining the team, I think we will be amazing next year. but we'll just never know. We'll just have to know, really. Um, Baba, of course, he did just win the Maryland Class 4A state title yesterday. Congrats to him and all of the Blake Bengals for their fantastic win against Whitman. And we are back to the broadcast. Let's see what region they will be doing next. I see Vanderbilt. Of course, they just lost the SEC championship to Arkansas today. Great team, however, had a great run to the championship game. And what region will we be on? We are with Michigan, so I'm guessing we will be talking about the Midwest. They did lose in the Big Ten championship game just like maybe 30 minutes to 40 to an hour ago. And they're the number one seed in the Midwest region. And we are back. They'll be playing in Buffalo, New York. Looks like they're set up somewhere. Maybe it's in the United Center. And wow, they will be playing a 16th seed. And this 16th seed will be either UMBC, who we know got the upset to the one seed with Virginia in around 2018 against Howard, the HBCU. It'll be a battle of the DMV for that 16th seed. Number 8 seed Georgia will be playing number 9 seed St. Louis from the A10. They didn't win the A10 conference game, but they will be taking on Georgia. I definitely think they can beat Georgia. Georgia's one of the lesser SEC teams, at least in basketball, and St. Louis definitely has a shot here. 5 seed Texas Tech, without JT Toppin, I believe, he tore his ACL Achilles. Still a great team, however. But they will be the 5 seed playing on Friday against the 12 seed, which will be the Akron Zips, who are the MAC champions. Very interesting. Texas Tech, Akron. This Akron team is very interesting. They've won the MAC championship for around the past, what, 4 or 5 years? I forget. Very experienced, especially in March. But this Texas Tech team is very good without JT Toppin, so that'll be interesting. 4 seed is Alabama with LeBaron Philon. They lost to Ole Miss, so that is going to be very interesting, especially with who they play at the 13 seed. That 13 seed is the Hofstra Pride. Very interesting low major team. I don't think they beat Alabama though. Alabama's been a very good March team. I remember last year with Mark Few when they hit like 39 threes in one game. I think that was against BYU. Great March team. Excited to see them play. 6 seed Tennessee. This Tennessee team lost to Vanderbilt. I think like what, 2 times this year. Um and they'll be playing either Miami, Ohio, or SMU. So one of the people I was DMing did say Miami, Ohio would be a first 4 team, and they're correct. They'll be taking on SMU in the first 4 to play Tennessee. That'll probably be one of the highest watched the first 4 games of all time, just because this Miami, Ohio team has gotten so much traction over the last couple months. We are on to the 3 seed who'll be playing on Friday in Philadelphia, and that'll be Virginia, the Virginia Cavaliers. Great ACC tournament run, lost to Duke in the ACC title game. Still, what a team, what a head coach, and very excited to see them play as a 3 seed. They'll be taking on 14 seed Wright State. This is happening in Philadelphia on Friday. And 7 seed is Kentucky. I do remember watching Kentucky beat Arkansas back in maybe January or February, something like that. And they'll be taking on the 10 seed Santa Clara. Yes, I love me some WCC basketball. So to see Santa Clara get in when many people were wondering if they'd even get a spot, very happy for Santa Clara. They'll be taking on Kentucky. Maybe an upset for them. One more WCC team that I'm waiting to get in, which is St. Mary's. So far it's just been Gonzaga and now Santa Clara. And the 2 seed will be Iowa State. This is another great Big 12 team. I really love the Big 12 this year. I think they might have 2 teams in the Final Four, and those 2 teams for me are definitely Houston and Arizona. Iowa State could also be a potential Final Four team, especially with the 1 seed being Michigan here, where they just lost to Purdue coming into the tournament run. And Iowa State will be playing Tennessee State, I believe, Ohio Valley Conference champions. Um, Fun fact about Tennessee State, I think it's Tennessee State, might be Tennessee Tech though. They play at the Titans Nissan Stadium, and that is the biggest capacity FCS stadium in the FCS. Going back up to the Midwest region, Michigan playing Battle of the DMV, UMBC or Howard, for the 16 seed. This Michigan team has a chance to go all the way to the Final Four. But if I had to choose one of the number one seeds to not make it to the Final Four, it'd be this Michigan team. Definitely like what they're doing throughout the regular season. My friend got to see Duke play Michigan at Capital One, maybe in like January, February, something like that. They did lose to Duke, and they did just lose to Purdue. Other than that, great team though. Missed a couple teams in that upper half, going to the bottom half. Tennessee came off with the Vandy loss. Will be playing either Miami, Ohio, or SMU. That Miami, Ohio team, just what a regular season. Unfortunately, they lost UMass, so they have to win this first four game to really prove their worth against a Power Five team in SMU. Virginia playing Wright State, Kentucky playing another WCC team in Santa Clara could be an upset, and then Iowa State as the two seed playing Tennessee State, and that is the end to your Midwest region. Now, some of you may be wondering if I am covering the women's selection Sunday, which will be taking place at 8 p.m., I believe. That's going to extend a little too long for my time frame tonight, but definitely next year, when I am a freshman in high school, I'll definitely have the time to be able to cover the women's bracket. Definitely will still have to fill out a women's bracket. Hopefully, when I make a video talking about who I'm gonna pick for my brackets, I'll definitely have to get both the men's and the women's. Unfortunately, tonight's stream will end after the men's selection Sunday broadcast ends. But if you do want to watch the women's selection Sunday, that will be taking place at 8 p.m. on ESPN. So you can also go watch that as well. University of Maryland Terrapins will probably be in the women's bracket. So excited to see the women's Terps basketball play in that tournament. And we are back on commercial break. It is almost 6:30 right now. Thank you for everyone who's been watching, as we only have one more region left, and then this stream will come to a conclusion. Um, what a bracket it's been so far. I mean, just all the number one seeds, amazing teams, and this is going to be a wild ride. Some of the biggest storylines. We talked about BYU in Kansas earlier. Talked about Miami, Ohio. Took a little bit at some of the WCC teams. Is that the Boozer twins on the commercial? Very interesting. Caden Boozer put on a show in the ACC title game. Just had to put that in real quick. Um, what a great Duke team that is. They have had some injury issues as of late, but I don't see that affecting them, especially with how their region is built. And we have one more region left, which will be the Southern region. Number one seed should be Florida. Um, don't quote me on that, though. They did lose to Vanderbilt, I believe, in the SEC tournament. So that is going to be interesting. Apparently, Miami, I'm looking at my athletic notification right now. That Miami, Ohio spot was the last at large spot available. So doesn't look like Oklahoma or Auburn will be making the big dance this year out of those SEC bubble teams I've been mentioning throughout the stream. If you're in the stream, go ahead and say hi. Love to talk to you all. Um, very sorry if I'm not getting your comments. They're just not showing up. It might just be that you all haven't commented at all, or it could be that I'm just not seeing them. But thank you for watching. Anyways, this has been a great selection Sunday to see, and I'm just very excited to see what happens next. I did mention that athletic notification I got earlier today. I did just start my subscription with the athletic, and I have to say I have been very happy with that. Sorry that I'm not looking at the camera. I'm just trying to pull up the broadcast again. Um that athletic subscription has been really amazing. I'm getting great content from that 24/7. It's really interesting because unlike like ESPN or Fox Sports, the Athletic has specialized reporters for pretty much all of your favorite teams, even though it's really a national brand. Um, Great sports news. If I had to choose my favorite, I think it's still ESPN just because it's free and it still gives you reliable information. But right after that, it's definitely The Athletic, probably the overall best information in the sports news world. And you can also listen to podcasts. The only problem though is that most of the stuff is under a paid subscription. But right now, I think it's on a deal for like $2 a month for your first year, which is why I got it. So I'm gonna see how that goes. Really loving it. Back to the selection Sunday. We are in the South region. Florida is the number one seed, like I mentioned. Houston, though, I am expecting them to be the 2 seed here. They'll be playing either Prairie View A&M from the SWAC or Lehigh. A very interesting thing I noticed, the HBCU conferences, including the SWAC and the MEAC, are always in the first four. I don't know why. 8 seed Clemson will be taking on 9 seed Iowa. Very interesting game there. We saw Clemson get upset by McNeese State last year, busted a lot of brackets, including mine. Hopefully, they get a redemption here. 5 seed is Vanderbilt, SEC Conference Tournament runner ups. Very quality squad. Great wins, especially in the SEC tournament. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get it done against Arkansas. They will be playing in Oklahoma City, not too far from Nashville, against the 12 seed McNeese State. This is very interesting. We saw them as a 12 seed last year, and they just beat Clemson. So 12 seed this year, can they get an upset again? We'll have to see. 4 seed Nebraska from the Big Ten. We were talking about them a lot early season because they were just on a run. Not as much lately. Didn't get to the Big Ten Conference Championship. Still a quality squad. They'll be the 4 seed in the South region, taking on 13 seed Troy from the Sun Belt. I believe they won the Sun Belt. They should have, but this is already very interesting South region, especially with McNeese, Vanderbilt, Florida. 6 seed North Carolina. I don't know how to feel about that. North Carolina, they don't have Caleb Wilson anymore. If I had to choose one upset that I'd have to like completely like bang, 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 like go on, all in on, it's that North Carolina game. But it really depends on who they play at the 11th seed. And that 11th seed is VCU. Yep, I'm already calling it. VCU is beating North Carolina. I would bet $1,000 that that happens. VCU, A10 conference champions. What a run! I think that they had a very interesting game against St. Louis earlier in the year that ended in a fight, but they're a very quality squad. They got it done in the Atlantic 10, and I think they can get it done against an injury riddled North Carolina squad. 3 seed, another Big Ten team, Illinois. Big Ten has a lot of teams this year, but I don't know how many of them are going to get that far. Maybe not even a lot of them get past the first weekend. And your 14 seed is the Ivy League champions, Penn, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Ivy League teams have a history of making big upsets. I don't think they beat Texas A&M last year, but when Yale was playing, um, when Yale was playing um Texas A&M, a lot of people picked that upset. And then I remember when Princeton beat Arizona back in 24-23. Daniel talking about Alabama 4 seed. I really don't know how I feel about Alabama. I'll get back to that in a second. St. Mary's taking on, I think it was Texas A&M as the 7-10 game. WCAC, not WCAC, sorry, WCC gets their 3 teams. Houston, one of my favorite teams of the year. Great defense, great overall team. Gets the 2 seed. They'll take on the Idaho Vandals. And that is the end of the bracket. Let me get to Daniel. Alabama as the 4 seed. Roll Tide. Inside joke, of course. But Alabama, very interesting team. They lost to Ole Miss in the SEC tournament. LeBaron Fallon, what a great player. Alabama, like I said earlier, has a history of performing well in March, but I don't know how far they'll get this year. I'd have to take a look at the bracket again, especially I think they're in the East or the Midwest, I believe. But will they get past the opening? No, not Final Four. That's not happening, bro. I can't even lie, bro. That's just not happening. Definitely can see them getting to the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight, depending on um how their region is set up. I mean, Daniel. I mean, if you think they're gonna make the Final Four, I mean, you can put that in your bracket, but you're not gonna like win the bracket competition with them with putting them making the Final Four. That's not happening. Um, Getting back to the South region, Houston, Idaho, 215, St. Mary's, Texas A&M, 710, Illinois, Penn, 314, North Carolina, VCU at the 611. If I had to put an upset in the South region, North Carolina, VCU. VCU's just, I mean, what a great team. North Carolina doesn't have Caleb Wilson. Daniel, who is the one seed? Let me see if I can try and pull that up. I'm trying to see how I can access the bracket on my phone without getting the stream cut off. Um, Here it is. I'm on the Athletic. Like I said, very good source. Um, can I see if the Athletic has that available? I mean, Alabama's the 4 seed, so that means I could probably find them. Alabama. Oh, they're in the upper half. Okay, the number 1 seed's Michigan. Yeah, Alabama's not beating Michigan. There's no way. I mean, even though I don't think Michigan will make the Final Four, there are some better teams in that region. I think the 2 seed Iowa State, yeah, 3 seed Virginia. Uh, it's just not going to be Alabama. It's just not. They're they'll probably make a run. That's not an easy dub. Michigan is a good team, and I did put some slander. I've been putting some slander on them, but Alabama's just not. No, if you can't beat Ole Miss, you can't beat a team like Michigan. But at the same time, Michigan did just lose to Purdue. Um, that's really the end of the March Madness selection Sunday. I don't want to get off just yet. Just want to give you all some overall thoughts about how this bracket is looking. I'm gonna try and pull it up on the Athletic again and try and go region by region. Uh, I can't do the women's tonight. I don't have enough time on my hands tonight. Next year though, I will definitely get to the women's. Feel free to go look at the women's selection Sunday on ESPN. I'll definitely try and stay tuned to that, but I will not be live streaming them. Too much of a time gap, of course. Um, Back to how this tournament is going to look like before I hop off the stream. Caitlin Clark is too good. I think she's in the team like the FIBA Women's World Cup like basketball qualifiers. I think she was on Team USA for that. She scored like 12 points and got a good amount of assists. She looked pretty good. March Madness, Caitlin Clark, if you already know. Um, Duke playing Siena, Ohio State playing TCU, St. John's North Iowa, and Kansas Cal Baptist. That Cal Baptist game is going to be in San Diego. Good evening, Gas Venska 429. Thank you for hopping on the stream. Just going through the overall bracket real quick. Let's say it one more time. Duke, Siena, Ohio State, TCU, St. John's, Northern Iowa, Kansas, Cal Baptist. I don't know about Kansas. Darren Peterson, great player, but Cal Baptist at home. I need to go watch them a little bit more before I say anything too bad about Kansas. Bottom half of the East region. Louisville, South Florida. Look at that for an upset. Michigan State, North Dakota State, UCLA, UCF. Don't have an opinion on that yet. And UConn, Furman. Moving on to the West region top half. Arizona playing LIU, Villanova, Utah State. That game could go either way. Very excited to see that. Wisconsin playing High Point, upset maybe. And the last one, I just lost my thing. It's weird. Oh yeah, Arkansas, Hawaii. Love that Arkansas team. Excited to see them. Bottom half, BYU, Texas, NC State, Gonzaga, Kennesaw State, Miami, Florida, Missouri, and then Purdue, Queens. Nothing too big from there. Moving on to the last two, Midwest region. Michigan playing Battle of the DMV, UMBC Howard. Very interesting. A lot of the DMV is going to be watching that first four. Georgia, St. Louis. I do expect to see St. Louis win that game. Texas Tech, Akron, and then Alabama, Hofstra. Bottom half will be Tennessee, Miami, Ohio, SMU. Biggest first four game this year. Virginia, Wright State, Kentucky, Santa Clara, Ohio State, Tennessee State. And then down to the last region, which was the South region. Florida, Prairie View, A&M versus Lehigh. Clemson, Iowa, Vanderbilt, McNeese. Does McNeese have more magic in them? It's March. We don't know. And Nebraska, Troy. Bottom half, North Carolina, VCU. I'm going to keep on pounding this one more time. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to see if I can get a quick segment about that North Carolina VCU game. When Caleb Wilson is healthy, North Carolina is a top 20, maybe even 15 team in the nation. But Caleb Wilson broke his thumb. He's out for the year. And not to say that this North Carolina team without him is not good. This is still a pretty good North Carolina team. But they just got a bad draw with A10 champions, VCU. What a great team. I just think they're gonna absolutely beat them. And Illinois, Penn, St. Mary's, Texas A&M, Houston, Idaho. Next year, we will be having another Selection Sunday stream, and I will definitely be able to get the women's stream involved. That might just be a little bit longer. So hopefully you all are ready to get to the ride next year. March Madness is here. I'm so excited to see these teams duke it out to get to the national championship and the Final Four in Indianapolis. Stay tuned for some more March Madness content. I'll be dropping some of my bracket takes, hot takes about this tournament, not just before, but throughout it. Very excited to see what goes on. And it is March. It is March. This is from the 2013 Final Four. It had Wichita State. Did Marquette make it in? No, I don't think they did. That's too bad though. They beat UConn. What a great win for them by UConn, but they did not beat you. They didn't. I don't think they made it in. I'll have to check one more time, but I don't think they made it in. No, like I said, this will be a great March Madness. There are great storylines. This is going to be one of the best NBA draft classes of all time going into next year, and very excited to see all these young players play in the big dance, America's greatest sports tournament of all time. This is G4 Sports Talk live from the Johnson residence, and I will see you all later for the start of March Madness. Stay tuned.